We're back, gang. Winding up and putting together some of the final thoughts on leadership by General Patton. I want you to keep in mind that this series is not the beginning and end of all leadership training. As a matter of fact, this series is what I would call a thumbnail sketch, or kind of a general overview. It's kind of a bird's eye view, if you will, a very abbreviated, abridged Reader's Digest version of how leadership works. And what the intention here of this series is to give, in broad strokes, some of the basic, most fundamental principles of personal responsibility and individual leadership over one's own destiny, not leading a large group of people or organization. How to turn yourself into somebody who's in command and control over his environment, not necessarily people. In broad strokes, I'm trying to give you some general and very general, as opposed to very specific, ideas on how to increase your own personal responsibility and be more at cause over your environment and start the momentum working for you. It's a process, an ongoing process. Learning and educating yourself and being better is something that happens with time and with perseverance on your part. You are the one that has to take the responsibility. You are the one that has to listen to the tapes. And as Patton said, think about what you're listening to. You have to continue to read. And as Patton said, think about what you're reading. You're the one who has to consistently and constantly go to functions and associate with winners. You need to evaluate. You need to monitor yourself and your own results, your own actions and your own thoughts on a daily basis. You need to keep yourself in check. You need to follow up and follow through on what's happening, not just within your organization or within your business, but in your own mind and in your own thoughts. You need to make sure that what you think are correct. You just can't do it once and expect that everything is going to be perfect. It's an ongoing, never-ending commitment to improvement. That's what's going to make it work for you. This, in my opinion, is not the end of your leadership training. It's, in fact, just the beginning. Now let's talk about teams for a moment, because when I talk about teams, we automatically think that there's a group of people involved. Well, the first thing you have to do is make sure that your thoughts are all lined up and congruent and not in opposition to one another. Now, what I mean by this is, well, let's talk about what Patton says. Patton says, a staff cannot function properly unless it is a united family. An army has to operate as a team. That's the only way it can reach its objectives. Now, we're thinking about people, but let's think about ourselves. Our thoughts, our values have to be lined up as a united family. You can't have two thoughts or two values that are in opposition to another. Let me give you an example. Some of you have a firm belief in this statement: money can't buy happiness. And you have a belief that's something that's a value. It's something that's a part of you. Money can't buy happiness. Okay? But you also, many of you, have this belief: you only get what you pay for. Now think about that. Those are two beliefs that could potentially be in opposition to one another. They're not congruent. They're not lined up. They're not in sync. You need to make sure your values are lined up, that they are in sync. And when you have opposing viewpoints, example, I want to be thin. Next, I hate exercise. Okay? Those are pretty much opposing values. I want to be thin. And I love to have big meals at 10 or 11 o'clock at night. I love to eat late. Okay? You have opposing situations or thoughts that working together aren't going to produce results and are going to give you a spirit of discontentment in your mind. You'll never be united. You see, if you take one horse and have it pull a wagon, it can pull so much weight. But when you put two horses together and they work in unison, they don't pull twice as much weight. They actually pull 3 to 4 times as much weight as one horse. Do you understand? You get a synergistic effect by having two horses in sync. You will have a synergistic effect when you have two thoughts in sync. So the first thing you have to understand that Patton says is a staff can't function properly unless it's a united family. We need to get our thoughts lined up. Then we need to get our people lined up so that we're going together as a group, that we're a family, that we're looking at the same mission, the same objective, that everyone understands that they're important and their element is an important part of the team, so that we create a teamwork effect, a synergistic effect, and as a group, we can get more done than individually. The next attribute of leadership. To lead is to teach. Now listen, Patton's reputation is built primarily on his success as a commander on the battlefield, but training his troops was the foundation for all those accomplishments. You see, one of the things that Patton did brilliantly was train and train and train and train and train his people. He was a mentor. He was a teacher. He was a motivator. He communicated. He made sure that he was physically seen by his people. Now, let's say you have no people in your group. Let's say you have no staff. You have no organization. You need to be the one to train yourself. People always say, but I don't have a mentor. I don't have a person that is willing to teach me. There's nobody around that lives close to me that's willing to help me build my business. You need to be the teacher to yourself. You need to learn material and teach it to yourself. Do you understand that? The way to learn material the best is to teach it. I made a statement years ago. I said, you need to learn the stuff well enough to teach it. And the method in which to accomplish that is by teaching it. You need to learn this and begin to have and give yourself daily lessons. Teach yourself. Now, how do you teach yourself? Let me give you the specifics. The specific way to teach yourself is basically talk to yourself out loud. As a matter of fact, this is something that I do and have done my whole life. I'm always talking to myself out loud. People think I'm nuts sometimes that see me and I just smile. But the great leaders always talk to themselves. Physically out loud, not thoughts, talking, moving your lips. So you could be in the car, you listen to a concept, maybe you shut the tape off, and you regurgitate it. You begin to teach to yourself. Let's say your name is Joe. So you'd be sitting in the car and say, now Joe, let me go over this particular technique on leadership that Kevin was just talking about. And begin to teach yourself. Talk to yourself. Use your first name. I do it all the time. I go, Kevin, let me tell you something. You're going to grab him by the nose and kick him in the ass. And you're going to do it all day long until we beat the living hell out of this guy. Do you understand? I may give myself orders. I may give myself motivation. I may give myself inspiration. I may give myself a lesson on how to do something. And I may actually ask myself questions. Some of you think, has he lost his mind? Well, if you listen to the Mega Memory series, you know I didn't, because you understand the whole science behind it. But as I'm teaching myself and talking to myself out loud, I may say, well, what do you mean kick him in the ass? What do you mean beat the living hell out of him? Who is it? It's not a person, Kevin. It's the challenges in life. It's you grabbing the challenges in life by the nose and you're kicking them in the pants and you're beating them. You're not just going to shoot them. You're going to rip their guts out. You're going to win. You're going to beat and handle every challenge, KT, because you got what it takes. See, I'll motivate myself just like I just did. You need to do that to yourself on a daily basis. Teach yourself. To lead is to teach, and it has to be done on a consistent basis. And the most important person that you're going to be teaching in your life is you. Corporate best. Patton said this: we are the best, and don't ever forget it. Don't let anybody forget that we are the best. See, a good leader is never bashful about instilling pride in the organization. You should never be bashful about instilling pride in yourself. Set the bar high. Set your sights on greatness. You need to believe that you're good enough, that you're the best. And I'm not talking about an egotistical type of ego. I'm talking about a level of self-confidence that you have to instill in yourself first before you can ever instill it in others. Praise must be timely and public. General Patton installed a radio system on the base, which he used to commend special efforts by the troops. He would announce, "Found a damn good soldier today." He would continue giving the name of the man and the organization he was in, unit, etc. Now, this was written by one of the lieutenants who was involved in Patton's organization. Effective leaders identify and publicly credit exceptional achievement. It's crucial to reinforcing the level of productivity and quality that you want. It celebrates achievement and always will lift the morale of the group as a whole, as well as that individual person. It provides an incentive to do more and to accomplish other achievements. It's an indispensable technique that can be used to create momentum and constant results. Here's the point. You need to praise yourself first. You need to give yourself pats on the back. You need to say, I had an incredibly productive morning. That was a great phone call. Man, I am proud that you got up so early today. Man, I am proud you didn't eat after 6 o'clock. Great job. Outstanding. Did you see yourself? Man, you were out there at lunch and everybody ordered dessert and you said no thank you? Man, that impressed me. Great job, KT. I'll do it to myself. You need to do it to yourself. It's got to be public. Praise yourself first, then use the technique for other people in your organization. Praise must be personal and sincere. Now listen to this. In October, General Marshall visited the Third Army, where he decorated the soldier with the Silver Star for breaking up a German counterattack by destroying 3 Tiger tanks with a bazooka. Now you have to understand, the Tiger tank was the biggest tank in all of World War II. The Germans had it, and it was an incredible tank. We didn't have anything as big or as powerful. Just thank God that they only developed 436 of them in the whole war. If they got 1,000 or 2,000, who knows where the war would have ended. because it was a great tank. After Marshall had finished, Patton asked if he might be permitted to make a presentation of his own. On the spot, Georgie composed an inspiring citation of his own and presented the soldier with the Distinguished Service Cross, which his aide quickly supplied. Can you wonder that the men of the Third Army were willing to follow Georgie to the end of the world? You see, Patton decided that the Third Army was his, it wasn't General Marshall. And even though General Marshall gave the praise and the public award, George Patton said, "This is my soldier in my army, and I am personally going to praise him and be sincere about it." That's why people followed him. That's why they were devoted to him. See, this shows that his loyalty started from the top, and he was loyal to his men first. See, you have to do that to yourself. Make sure that you praise yourself, and make sure that you are genuine, personal, and sincere about it, and use that technique to others. Praise must be precise and detailed. Now listen to this. This is George Patton. He sent this out. This was General Order Number 10 after he took Palermo, Sicily, to be read to the troops. Soldiers of the 7th Army and 8th Air Support Command, landed and supported by the Naval and Air Force, you have, during 21 days of ceaseless battle and unremitting toil, killed and captured more than 87,000 enemy soldiers. You have captured or destroyed 361 cannon, 172 tanks, 928 trucks, and 190 airplanes. You are magnificent soldiers. General Eisenhower, the Commander-in-Chief, and General Alexander, the Army Group Commander, have both expressed pride and satisfaction in your efforts. Now, in conjunction with the British 8th Army, you are closing in for the kill. Your relentless offensive will continue to be irresistible. The end is certain and is very near. Messina is our next stop. You see, a good leader is always generous with his praise. And equally important, he makes the praise genuine. Now, it's always a good idea to review and announce your organization's accomplishments in specific terms. See, you have to do this by telling yourself, or the people you're involved with, just what they've done. Make sure that you let them know that you know the specifics of their accomplishments. See, backed up with information and facts, real life numbers are always the most effective. See, by definition, congratulations concern the past, what has been accomplished. However, congratulations should always end by looking to the future. And see, if you note the closing paragraph in Patton's message, it gives a progress report. You are closing in, and a prediction. Irresistible success. See, he told them what they did, praised them for their accomplishment, but also encouraged them for the future and praised them in advance for their next accomplishment. Do the same for yourself. Use that technique for yourself. Praise must look forward as well as back. Same concept. Message to the 2nd Armored Division after Patton was promoted to higher command. I desire to express to all ranks my sincere appreciation for your magnificent performance. Your untiring effort on training has made you a great division. When you meet the enemy, the same spirit of devotion will make you feared and famous. I shall be very proud of you. See, you have to take every opportunity presented to convey convincing praise. The function of praise is to encourage continued superior performance while setting the bar just a little higher. Always end messages of congratulations and praise with a look toward the future. Use that technique on yourself by saying out loud or writing yourself messages and reading them, seeing them in paper. And let me tell you something, you're going to see some incredible increases in self-confidence, self-esteem, courage, and power in your own life. You're going to start seeing that your whole world is going to start changing and things are going to start happening to your own benefit. Be generous with credit. This is from Patton's General Order for VE Day. During the course of this war, I have received promotion and decorations far above and beyond my individual merit. You have won them. I, as your representative, wear them. The one honor which is mine, and mine alone, is that of having commanded such an incomparable group of Americans. The record of those fortitude, audacity, and valor will endure as long as history lasts. See, generosity is a quality of leadership too often overlooked. Patton, whom many criticize for being a power-hungry and, guy just looking out for his own personal glory, was always eager to credit his men for all that he had accomplished. Include everyone in every accomplishment. Praise all around you, and you'll see spectacular results. Put the mission in a fresh light. This is a message that Patton gave to his troops prior to the landing in Sicily in July 1943. When we land, we will meet German soldiers, whom it is our honor and privilege to attack and destroy. The glory of American arms, the honor of our country, the future of the world rests in your individual hands. Now, look at how he did this. See, you need to define your mission in a way that puts it in perspective, that may not be immediately available or apparent to the people around you. The phrase honor and privilege puts the very grim task ahead of these soldiers of killing people into a startlingly effective light. I mean, think about it. Okay, you're going to go out there and shoot people. Well, he called it the honor and privilege to attack and destroy. He changed the whole dynamics. And note how Patton stressed individual responsibility as an immense and profound undertaking. See, one of his great talents as a leader was the ability to make the war, this great, confusing, terrifying, violent, yet often abstract enterprise, immediately and dramatically relevant to each and every member of his command, from general all the way down to the private. The point is, when you're out there building your business, you need to make sure that you understand that it's an individual, personal commitment, and that it's going to have a profound, dramatic effect. That what you're doing is almost a duty and a responsibility, and that you and you alone can have a profound, dramatic, and significant impact on its success or failure. Putting a mission in a fresh light is a powerful way to instill confidence, increase motivation, and inspire great performance, not just in others, but in yourself. You see, the point that is so relevant here is when we talk about leadership, and I've said it before, we think about leading men, but the first thing you have to do is lead yourself. Because you need to get yourself taking action and moving. You need to change the whole dynamics of how you interact with the world and how the world interacts with you. Folks, it's all connected. You need to change some things inside that instantly will change and have a ripple effect on how everything and everyone reacts and relates to you and puts into motion things that are working to your advantage and are all led so that you will achieve your desired dreams, goals, and outcomes. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I think Patton was so brilliant about. By perseverance, study, and eternal desire, any man can become great. See, I believe, as Patton did, anyone who's willing to work hard and strive continuously to be the best they can possibly be at their chosen profession, career, business, whatever, has the potential to attain the stature of greatness. See, I believe you have the ability to be great. But you must remember that being great doesn't always mean that you will also have no challenges, no situations you have to deal with, or that you'll be rich and famous. See, some people believe, I think incorrectly, that being great means only that you must have a direct, profound, or monumental impact on history, and I don't agree. I think many great people have been great, but are unknown. You have the ability to be great in your sphere of influence, but you have to have perseverance. You have to study, which is listening to tapes and reading books and going to seminars and events and functions, and have eternal desire. Remember, the first key to success: define your dream and have a burning desire for its achievement. You become what you think about. That's really what it's all about. Patton said it's really amazing what determination on the part of one man can do to many thousands. Yes, if you turn your own life around, you will change the lives of thousands. But you have to start by changing your life. I'll go back to one of the axioms that I talked about, which is really one of my favorites, and I think sums up this whole concept. It's the unconquerable soul of man, and not the nature of the weapons he uses, that ensures victory. You see, weapons, marketing tools, if you will, are great and helpful and nice. But if we look at history, those who succeeded on the battlefield and those who succeeded in business, if we look at the heroes that we have in our business environments, people that we look up to, people that have succeeded, who are at the level that we want to get to, and we find out that they didn't have extraordinary talents. They didn't have the great weapons. They didn't have the best tools. What they had was a spirit inside that says, I will win. I will never lose. And that's what it comes down to, folks. Belief. Do you believe in yourself? I believe in you. I know what you can do. I know what this business can do. I know that the business works, and I know it can work for you. I know you can achieve all the things in life you want. And I want you to think just for a moment. I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine what your life would be like if you didn't have a job, if all your bills were paid, if you had $500,000 cash in the bank. If you had $100,000 a month coming in every month, month after month after month, what would your life be like? I want you to picture in your mind how you would design your ideal life. Imagine that money is not an object. What kind of home or homes would you have? What would they look like? What would the yards look like? Would there be a swimming pool? A circular driveway with a fountain? Would you have a view? Would you be on the ocean or in the mountains? What would the inside of the home look like? How would it be furnished? What type of cars would you have available? What models? What colors? What type of clothes would you wear? What type of jewelry would you have? How would you look physically? What weight would you be at? What type of relationships would you have with your spouse and family? What kind of relationships would you have with your loyal friends? Where would you travel to? Would it be Hawaii? Would it be the Orient, Australia, Europe? What would your day be like? When would you wake up? Would you go to restaurants? How would you feel being totally free, secure, at peace? I want you to know that the life you've always dreamed about is yours for the taking. All you have to do is take charge. You're the commander of your future. So take command. You can do it. I know you can. Have a great holiday. I love you. And I'll talk to you next month.